Well, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark Lombardo. I am the president of the Lighting and EV Charging Solutions Division here at Alps Controls. I want to thank everyone for their interest in learning more about our line of EV charging through Blink Charging. And many of you are already involved in this rapidly growing vertical market, and today we hope that you'll learn more about our product offering from Blink Charging. For those of you that are just exploring the EV market, you'll find that the target customers are already your existing customers, such as universities, K-12s, corporate buildings, property management groups, national account retailers, and many more. And because of many of your existing relationships, you can now bring this new revenue generating opportunity to your customers and ultimately your bottom line. We're hopeful that after today's introduction to our manufacturer, Blink Charging, we can schedule a follow-up with each of you to discuss additional details of the product, services we offer, as well as selling techniques to your potential customers in this exciting new vertical market. Just as a reminder, make sure you stay until the end of the webinar because we'll be giving the drawing or having the drawing, picking the names to give out the Yeti coolers and the Amazon gift cards. And now I would like to introduce you to Brandon Jacobs. He's the Vice President of Sales for Blink Charging. Brandon?
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Hope to teach you all at least some things about the EV charging industry. As Mark mentioned, I am the Vice President of Sales for Blink Charging. Been here for about 5 years now. Have installed a couple thousand chargers throughout the country. So been doing this for a while, and I've heard just about every question there is. So don't hold back any questions you guys might have. Happy to help you out. So a little bit about Blink, if you guys aren't familiar. So we are headquartered in Miami, Florida. We have production facilities in Tempe, Arizona, and Bowie, Maryland. We have offices at every green dot you see there around the world. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. We've done about 4 acquisitions over the last 12 months, the biggest of which was a company called SemiConnect, where they were about the same size as us, and we acquired them and doubled in size overnight. So the expansion has been very rapid since I started. When I started, we had about 20 employees. Now we're over 600. We have over 50,000 chargers installed throughout the world, over 400,000 people using our chargers on a daily basis. So, it's a big operations. We also are fully vertically integrated, meaning we control the initial design of the chargers, the production of them, the assembly, and then the shipping, the installation, and the ongoing maintenance. So from start to finish, we stay involved with the chargers. So here's a snapshot of the companies Blink has worked with. As you can see, it spans across multiple verticals. Anywhere where there's a parking lot is a potential charging location for us. I would imagine many of you have experience working in a handful of these verticals. So this is a great opportunity to tap into existing clients and, talk about installing chargers. All right, so diving into the product line. So high level, if everyone is not familiar with the different types of chargers out there, you essentially have 3 different levels. There's 1, 2, and 3. 1 is just a regular 110 outlet, plug into the wall, and it gives you a very slow charge. It'll often take cars a few days to charge in full. So what happens is cars will plug in at home or wherever they can, and then while they're out, doing what they normally do, they'll find a level 2 charger. Which they can plug in for a couple hours and get, a good chunk of battery added to their range. So level 2, also called destination chargers, are meant to be plugged in for a couple hours, usually found at, retail centers, workplace, even multifamily buildings. And then you have level 3, also called the DC fast chargers, which are meant for highway stops, gas stations, the quick on and off. Many of you might be familiar with the federal infrastructure bill that was announced about 5-6 months ago, and that is for expanding access to DC fast chargers, those highway stop chargers. So on the screen here, on the top left, you have the HQ200 and the MQ200. Those are our residential chargers. So the HQ200 is for single family home. I don't believe many of you will run into that too often, but the MQ200 is for multifamily. So apartment complexes, condominiums, anywhere where people are living, they're doing most of their charging. So this is the big opportunity if you guys are working with developers of multifamily buildings to get this MQ200, which is a low-cost machine that serves their needs. So a resident who plugs in overnight, wake up with a full battery. So that's a key product for the multifamily industry. Below that is our portable charger. As the name suggests, it's a mobile charger that for roadside assistant companies, they'll throw on the back of a pickup truck, and if an EV is down, they'll give it some juice and get it back on its way. The IQ200 in the middle there, that is our level 2, the destination charger. So that is great for shopping centers, for workplace, retail, mixed use, anything in the open, anywhere where people are already going for an hour plus. And it's a great addition, great amenity for property owners who want patrons to linger around at their property. So if you're at a shopping center and you're plugged in for an hour, you're going to linger, spend more money, and add value to the property. The Vision IQ next to that is the same as the IQ, but it has that ad screen, and that will be an additional source of revenue through the advertisements. And then the DC fast charging, that is the smaller version. We have, they range from 30 kilowatts all the way up to 350 kilowatts. These run off of 480 volt power, whereas the IQ200 and the MQs run off of 208 or 240. So it's a bigger energy haul, but it can be more expensive, but they are perfect for highway stops, gas stations. A little bit more about the level 2 chargers. So each of these plugs here can take its own 100 amp dedicated circuit of 208 or 240 volt power, which would output up to 19.2 kilowatts. You can also load share the power. So you can put one 100 amp circuit across multiple chargers and they will split it. So when one's in use, it'll pull the 80% output, so the 80 amps. And then when two are in use, they'll each pull 40 and so forth. So it's a great mechanism to spread limited load available on site if there's not, enough for 100 amps at each plug. So that's a good mechanism for that. The chargers can be mounted on either a pedestal, onto a wall or a pole, whatever makes sense for the site. The chargers can be mounted onto, that mechanism. And as far as payment methods, drivers can either use their phone to, the Blink app to find the charger and click start charging. They can use a Blink card to activate the charger it's an RFID card, or they'll be able to use Apple Pay or Google Wallet very soon with our new network. So that makes it easier. And if they don't have any of that, there's a phone number on the charger they can call to enter their credit card over the phone. The MQ200, this is the multifamily charger. It also runs off of 208 or 240 and can take up to 50 amps, and which would maximize at 12 kilowatts. Same load sharing capabilities. You could put multiple of these chargers on a site and all share the same circuit, and they would spread it evenly when all in use. It's also a good fit for fleets. So if you guys are ever working with a electric fleet, then it's a great product for that as well. This and the IQ200 will both have what's called ISO 15118, which has two main components. First off is vehicle to grid technology. So you will be able to pull power from the car back into the building to serve as like a battery backup. So if the lights go out. So that's a neat little feature there. It also will have what's called plug and charge, which will allow you to take the charger out of the holster, plug it into the car, and the transaction will start automatically. You won't have to do anything on the touchscreen. It'll recognize the car, it'll recognize the credit card, and it will charge them. All they have to do is take the charger out of the holster and plug it into the car. So very neat product. Both this and the IQ run on 4G and or Wi-Fi. So another key component when evaluating sites is making sure there is internet connection. So there must be a cellular or Wi-Fi connection, or else the chargers will not work. So that should also always be top of the list of making sure when you get to a site that there is a reliable connection there. And then the DC fast chargers, the 30 kilowatt, you can just kind of get a scale for the sizes difference between that and the bigger ones. These require like their own dedicated transformers, typically the 480 volt. So it's a bigger lift than the level 2 chargers, often require new service from the utility. But we are receiving a lot of funding through the federal government for these. So if you have relationships with property owners that have locations across highway corridors, then this could be a good opportunity for that. And then the network. So, there's the hardware and the software. Blink manages both. Some companies only do one. We do both. And the network is what allows hosts to monitor the data usage, the CO2 reduction that they're getting, all the information regarding the data on the chargers, and also lets the host collect revenue. So they can go in, set the price of the chargers to whatever they want, and then Blink through the software manages that revenue collection and sends a wire or a check to the host on a monthly basis. So a lot of the rebates, if there's funding available, require them to be networked. So if a host ever says they want them to be non-networked, just be a dumb charger, if you will, then they will be missing out on funding opportunities available in their location. And then this is a different network we offer for fleets. So this allows fleet operators to input their electric fleet for, let's say, a couple months, and exactly where their schedules are, how big their batteries are, and the software will automatically detect how much power is needed for each of those trucks. And also it'll charge when the grid is at its lowest rates. So it's a dynamic mechanism for fleets to, affordably and efficiently charge their vehicles. All right, next up is the business model. So I would say 95% of what you all will do will be the model on the left, the host-owned purchase model, which is where the host buys the chargers, they install them through you, I'd imagine, and they get all the revenue. It is their charger. They can set the price to whatever they want, and they do pay for the annual fee for the software. In that, the reason I say that's probably the most common is because the contractors, you all, will be buying the chargers will resell it at a higher cost. So that's how you'll make your money on the hardware and also on the installation, I would imagine. The three on the right are models where Blink will maintain ownership. The Blink as a service is essentially a lease where instead of outlaying the cash to buy the chargers, the host will pay a monthly fee and they will still get all the revenue, but Blink will own the chargers. And then the hybrid and the Blink owned on the right, those are models where Blink will make investments into the hardware and or the installation cost. And we will own it, we will operate it, we'll be responsible for all service and maintenance for the life of the chargers, but we will keep the majority of the revenue. So that's the high level. But again, the host owned is what will likely be making up the majority of your business. And then just an overview of like what the process looks like if you have an interested client. Step one is speaking with them about, which business model makes sense to them. If there are funding opportunities, how that process works, what they need to get ready to meet those funding requirements. We'll do a site evaluation. So look at the power available on site, determine where the house panel is, what the shortest run is to minimize trenching and, conduit size. And then we'll, file with the utility that we're ready to install. They'll give us the green light. Once you guys get on site, it usually only takes 4 to 5 days to install the chargers. It's the, funding applications that take time to clear first. Once they're in the ground, you'll be coordinating with Blink's network operations team to commission the units. So you'll tell them how much power is being run to each charger, if there's load sharing going on, the wiring sizes, those details, so we can get them hooked up in our system. And then Blink will, stay involved, and we have a whole dedicated account management team that will stay involved with the client and, answer any questions they have, make sure they get set up, and, stay involved throughout the duration of the charger's life. All right. And then just to recap, that's all I had. The level 2 charger, the destination charger, the IQ200 is the fastest level 2 charger in the market. So that is an advantage, a great selling point for everybody, is to pitch the fast level 2 charger. I mean, speed is the holy grail in the charging market. Everyone wants to charge as fast as possible. So we are happy to say we do have the fastest one in the level 2 market. We own and operate a ton of chargers, more than anyone else in the country. So we understand how to do it and what questions to ask and what to prepare for as hosts. So we are, in addition is just the manufacturer, we're a great consultant when it comes to installing chargers. We offer a variety of different products, anything that makes sense for the host. We consult with them and make sure we're offering the right product and business model. And, we are all over the world, and we're bringing our manufacturing to the US. We just announced plans to open up a manufacturing facility in the US. A lot of the new funding that's coming out will require that. So we are getting ahead of it now, and we are very proud of that fact. And that is all I have. Mark?
All right, great. Thanks, Brandon. Obviously, we're talking at a 50,000 foot level here as an introduction to the chargers and some of the systems and programs that we have. So Alan, if you'd like to open this up to the Q&A session, Brandon and even myself, if there's anything there we can answer, we'd be glad to do so.
Okay, thanks. So right now we do have a couple of questions in there. Mark and Brandon, I don't think that you can see them because you're not looking at the same thing I am. So I will go ahead and read them to you as we get them in. Okay.
Great.
So the first one we have is, how fast does a Blink charging station charge?
Sure. So depends what product. The level 2 chargers will take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours to charge in full. So plenty of time if you're plugging overnight, or if you're looking for just a top off, if you've done the level 1 charging. And then the DC fast charging ranges anywhere from 15 minutes to about 90 minutes, depending on what kilowatt size you use.
Okay, great. Our next question is, does every state have rebates available from your utility company?
Not every state. Most of them do today, way more than they did a year ago. It's growing quite a bit, and there is a lot of funding that's coming from different, directions, whether it's federal or state. So the majority of states today have funding, but not everyone.
Okay, thanks. We have a question from John Sargent, who wants to know, do any of these units allow for third-party integration for data metering, logging, or analytics? And if so, is it purely via cloud-connected APIs, or are other protocols supported?
Yes. So great question. A lot of the rebate boards require what you just described, and they will mandate that we give access to these data aggregators that are hired by the funding boards. So yes, we provide the data access. It integrates into any data aggregation platform that is required for the rebates, and the network can be tied into third-party networks as well. It is a cloud-based API.
Terrific. Okay, we have a question from Fernando Espinoza, who wants to know, we are in El Paso, Texas, and we have customers in Mexico. I have a customer interested in 2 chargers for 2 different facilities. Are there any restrictions to installing them in Mexico?
Nope, we do a lot of work down there. We've installed thousands of chargers throughout North America. So no problem. We're in multiple countries and we have a team that is focused on that region.
Okay, here's a question. If the Blink unit or the accessories break, how do we handle replacement parts?
The units come with a 1-year warranty, which covers parts and labor. And then hosts have the option to purchase extended warranties of 3 and 5 years. So if it's under warranty, we'll replace it. Typically, we'll just replace the whole unit. But if it's not under warranty, then it'll be on the responsibility of the host.
Okay, and how about for support of the Blink unit? Who do we contact? Blink or Alps Controls?
Once the chargers are in the ground, you can contact Blink directly. We have a 24/7 customer service call center that will answer your calls, and we stay involved when the chargers are in the ground for the life of the charger. So you'll have a dedicated account management rep and our 24/7 call center.
Gerardo Vergara Monroy wants to know, is the plug compatible with most or all EV cars?
All the plugs are compatible with 100% of electric vehicles on the road today, including Teslas and every other car.
Are the Blink chargers US made? Where's the stock held and what are the lead times?
So the acquisition we did that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation with SemiConnect. Part of the reason we did it is because they already had US manufacturing in place. So they're manufacturing in Bowie, Maryland. So we do some of our manufacturing there and some overseas. And the lead times, we have the level 2 chargers in stock in Tempe, Arizona. So the lead times will only be a couple of weeks if you're buying a level 2 charger. The DC fast chargers have longer lead times. They're about 4 to 5 months right now. But the level 2s, we have plenty in stock domestically.
Okay, it looks like John Sargent has a follow-up question to something you mentioned earlier. Are your API details publicly available for review?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I can ask internally. We are a publicly traded company, so a lot of what we do is publicly accessible. But I can look for more details on what exactly is available on the API.
Just a couple more, looks like, right now. Gustavo Robeo wants to know, I am in Colombia, South America, and there is an increasing market for electric market cars. Can your systems be installed here?
Yep, we've installed hundreds of chargers in South America. We have an awesome rep down there who's based down there who does a great job for us. So definitely.
The GSA has a BPA and Blink is on the list, but not Alps Controls for federal projects. If we must go through the GSA for a charger, do we contact Blink or the GSA BPA holder?
So I believe the way it works is as long as the manufacturer, which is Blink, is on the list, you can work with other vendors to get that equipment supplied. Mark, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, that is a true statement. It's the manufacturer that's listed on there, so they can purchase the product from us for
that. Tell us what Blink has done for cybersecurity.
Yeah, we have a whole cybersecurity team that is dedicated to doing only that on the chargers. We have all the certifications we need. If you look at our spec sheets, you'll see the different certifications for safety. Again, we're a publicly traded company, so a lot of that has to be transparent. Something that the team takes really seriously. And it's, we have a whole team of network engineers that are focused on the cybersecurity part. So if you don't have our spec sheets, Mark can send them to you and you can review our certifications there.
Okay, excellent. It looks like that might be all the questions that have been submitted right now, but I would let everybody watching know that the question and answers, that panel will still stay open for about, I think, another half hour or so. So if you want to submit them, I will make sure that those questions get to Mark and Brandon, and we'll get you an answer as soon as we can. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And Mark, maybe you can take us out.
Sure. Again, thank you, everyone, for attending today's event. All of the EV chargers from Blink can be found on the Alps Control site, and they're registered. They're under their own category of EV charging. So along with that, all the data sheets, installation sheets, and all are all downloadable there for your review. Obviously, any questions, get a hold of us. Closing, I guess, I hope everyone has an enjoyable Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll make sure we follow up and contact everyone that attended today so we can answer any additional questions, schedule some meetings in the field if you need us to come out. We can bring a sample. We have samples to come in and bring and show you as well. But definitely appreciate your time today and attending this event.